This is Young Trader. It is Sunday night. Okay, so we're going to take a look here at Bitcoin, at gold, at silver, at crude oil, natural gas, and we'll take a look at here at the ONQ, which is up about 21 here right now. But first, we're going to take a look here at Budweiser, BUD. Now, they had some issues here in the past. They were trying to do a little bit something that just did not work out. Same way when they had the same situation as with Target. However, over the weekend, it was announced that Sydney Sweeney, one of the hottest chicks out there right now, okay, she did that jeans commercial there for American Eagle. She did this Baskin-Robbins commercial, and now it looks like Budweiser is going to pay her $10 million to do a commercial for them. So this could be some easy money for us if that stock goes up. The rest of the stocks rally very, very hard, so let's just see if we can make some money here with the old Budweiser. Okay, this video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy any stock, commodity, ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. All right, here we had Budweiser. Now, they had their issues there, okay, when they put in that commercial here that just did not fly. I don't want to, say anything more than that. It just did not work out, okay? So I don't want to offend anybody either way, kind of a situation. But anyway, that didn't work out. It was about the same scenario as what Target was doing. Okay, it did. Now, we had a nice, good rally. Now you can see how it fell right on off. Now, Sydney Sweeney, it looks like they want to pay her $10 million to make this Budweiser, just like she did with the jeans and the Baskin-Robbins and all this kind of stuff. And this could propel the stock up here so we could make some coin off of this. Okay, so what we're looking for, okay, we had this high of a 62.05. Now, there is a resistance there at 65.24. When we get past that, then we're looking for this gap fill at that 66.41. So we could take it from 62.05 to a 66.41 level. Now, again, there is resistance right there at that 66.36 level. That's your 100-day. But then if we get above it, there's another gap all the way up here at 67.71. And then look right to the bottom at 69.67. Another gap, another fill. So if this stock gets going and starts rallying, we could rally and make some really good money off this whole situation, okay? So that's what a trader does. But again, we want to watch those key levels. Okay, that's at 65.24, your 21-day. We want to watch that 100-day, and then we want to watch that 50-day at 68.02. But then we have that gap fill at that 69.67, and then we have that 74 retest, and possibly all the way up to 72.13 level. Now, you can see here how it got oversold, I should say, condition, oversold. Sorry about that. And then she's going to, now we have a good chance at this rallying up. The same way with the MACD. We're sitting here. The green is still below the red, but we are way on the bottom. We are nowhere near on the top here. So this could have a really, really good rally up here. Now, once all this news gets out, okay, information is the most valuable commodity that there is. Okay, always remember that. If this commercial starts taking place, this could rally the Budweiser all the way on up. Because a lot of times people have a very, very short memory on what the past was, and they see this new commercial and say, oh, man, you know, Sydney, she's a Republican. Okay, she likes to shoot guns. She likes to do all this kind of stuff. This might propel the old Budweiser higher, so I wanted to point this out to you. Okay, let's take a look here now at Bitcoin. Okay, here we have Bitcoin. I can see she's starting to take off just a little bit there. Okay, so we had this sideways consolidation, came right on down, and then we held this a low here at 113.45. But you notice that we did fill this gap. Okay, so your gap was 115.635, and your fill was 114.380. That gap is now filled, which is nice. We don't have to worry about that. Now, you can see here we had this nice green candle, and then Friday we had this indecision candle. See this? Indecision candle. Now, today we have this like a little green blob. So let's look at the downside here first. Well, this is what we're watching, is that 21-day, 117.802, very, very key. We get below that, looking at 116.434, that is your 8-day. Now, we lose that, we come to the bottom here, 114.685. You got 114.300 level, and then we come down to the bottom there at 113.45 level, and then we have that 50-day at 111.901. But you have to lose the 21-day and the 8-day in order to do that. Now, upside, look at here, okay, 119.530 level. Here's your next target right up here is 119.785. We get above that, we have right up top of that candle, 124.15, and then we have this 121.255. We have to see what the reaction is. Now, if we can get above that, then we're looking at this retest 123.615. Very, very nice. Now, the T-Man came out and he said that they're going to be trying to do a system where you can add this to your 401k. That would be in huge demand here for the old Bitcoin. They're trading it, Bitcoin will be something like a gold and a silver and an actual commodity. Now, we cracked that 123.615. We just go left shoulder, head, right shoulder, inverse. We flip that bad boy over. You look about 125.5 is going to be your target, which, at these numbers here, you can zip up to 130, 135 very, very easy. Now, we had that topping tail right there, and we had also the topping tail on a weekly, so you had to be very, very cautious, but we had a sideways trading action. Now, it didn't really sell off. It looks like Bitcoin, anytime it wants to correct, it gets buyers coming in. Now, you're only sitting at 59. You got plenty of room to run to the upside. The green is below your red, but that could curl up. We could aim right for this top of that candle, 121.255, and then that retest at 123.615. And then we got to see what your reaction is if it gets there. Okay, does it blast through, or does it hit it and come down, go a little sideways action? So always watch for the reaction. Now, we've been holding this 8-day very, very nicely. You can see how she's creeping up very nice at 115. Now, if say this does get hammered and we lose that, then we always look to the top of that candle, 112.345. We come up there, 110, 150, and then we have 108.960, and we can work yourself down to the 21-day. However, look, it's a very, very bullish chart. Look at it, bottom left, upper right, and it sold off. The 50-day held, 50-day held. And now you're 8 days up, 21-day, 50-day, 100-day, and 200-day is all up there very, very nicely. Now you can see here how strong this is. Now you got to a little bit overbought, came on down, and now we're heading right that side the direction. But that can stay like that for quite a while. That just shows the strength of it. Now your green over your red looking very, very bullish. Okay, so bottom line, okay, what you want to watch is that 21-day and that 8-day on the downside. On the upside, we want to watch the top of that candle, 119.785. And then we want to watch 124.15. And then here's your big boy, 121.255. We can clear that. We can go and retest that 123.615. Okay, let's take a look here now at gold and silver. Okay, here we have gold, here we have silver. Now, you can see here on the old gold, we put that topping tail in there on Friday. So you got to be very, very careful. See it just like we had there on the Bitcoin, and then what happened, it kind of sold around up. So so far it's an inside day, but it's very, very early. So on the downside, you want to watch Friday's low, okay, 34.45. And then we want to watch this 8-day right there at that 34.31 level. Then we come down here to your 21-day. You're looking at 33.89. And then we have your 50-day at 33.27. That is your downside situation, okay? But really what we're really watching is this 34.51. As long as we can hold that level, we can hold this whole situation and maybe take it higher. Now, if it starts to rally up, you got the 34.66 level, okay? If it starts going right on up there, what we can do, we have up here, we have 34.76. That's going to be your next level. And then we come up here at that 34.83. And then we have your retest at 35.34 level, okay? But again, we got to see what it is because we do have a topping tail, so be very, very careful. Now, RSI 59, we have some nice good sideways action. You got plenty of room to roll up or down. The green is over your red. That shows good momentum. But right now, we still have a very, very bullish kind of a situation. Now, this is what we were watching there in the past. That was that topping tail, 35.09. See, when you had that topping tail, what happened? Came and sold right on off. So we have another one of those topping tails, so you got to be very, very careful. Let's see. Now, again, if that price can go back above that 35.34, well, then that negates that topping tail, and you can head for 35.50, possibly 3600, maybe even 3620 level on the old chart, okay? On the downside, just watch that 8-day, very, very key, that 21-day, and that 50 SMA. Now, we look here at silver. Now, silver here had a little bit of a situation, but this is more of an indecision candle. Doesn't really know what to do. That was on Friday. Now, today, we just have like an inside day. Now, on the downside, you want to watch that 38.28, very, very key. And then we can come down to Friday's low, 38.18. We have 37.93. And then we have that 8-day sitting right there at that 37.82 level. That is your downside action. We lose that situation. We come down to the bottom of the candle, 37.32. And then we have your 50-day, which held nicely right there. So you got to respect it at 37.13. Now, on the upside, we want to be watching the top there, 38.76 and then 38.87. Okay, so now if we can get above that, then we'll come right to the bottom of that candle, 39.02, and then we have up here 39.52, 39.66, retest 39.91. Crack above that, it's going to be 40, 42, 45 level. So right now, just watch that 8-day or that 21-day. You lose that, we're going to be looking for the 21-day. 8-day simple moving average. Okay, so watch the 21-day, then that 8-day. Okay, we lose all that. Your big target is going to be that 50-day. Upside, we want to watch Friday's high, that 38.87 level, because see how we touched it right there. You had 38.82, came in within 5 cents situation. So we want to watch the top of that. We can get above that, then we have a nice good target at 39.91. RSI here only at sitting at 56, not overbought or oversold. The green is below your red, but it was working it, but it has to make a crossover like we had here. Then we have ourselves a nice good reaction up higher. Okay, let's take a look here now at crude oil and natural gas. Okay, here we have the old crude oil. Okay, now looking very, very not so nice. Okay, we had this big downtrending action. Friday we put even a lower low in there, all the way down at that 62.77 level. So when we were watching the bottom of that candle, we're looking at 62.82. And then the next level is going to be that 62.50. Then we'll come down here. We're looking at 62.17. We'll come up to the top of there. You're looking at 61.72. And then we have 61.06. And then we have a nice retest down here at 59.74 level. Okay. So on the upside here, we're watching Friday's high at 64.58. And then we're going to be looking for this 100-day, which is going to be very strong resistant, 64.93. We get above it. We have that 8-day, 65.39. Your 21-day, 66.26. And then we have your 50-day, 66.70. And then we have right there, 67.84 level. Now, we get above all that. You got 70.51, which is your upside target. Now, you can see here how the 8-day crossed over, 21-day crossed over. Very, very strong resistance is going to be if we can get even through that 100-day. See, now we look at this 100-day, see how strong it was, and then how nicely it held, okay, once we're over. But now we're not. We're coming right on down. Now, you need some kind of a catalyst, hurricane season, some kind of a disruption going on here. Now, remember, Putin is going to meet, T-Man is going to meet with Putin there in Alaska this week, and they're going to discuss about shutting down that Ukraine war and all this kind of stuff. So we got to see how that all shakes out, because if they get some kind of agreement, okay, then Putin will start pumping oil. That's what it's all going to be about, the oil. It's kind of a situation. And you know what I'm saying? And they put more oil on the market. Now, remember, Saudi Arabia is adding 541,000 barrels a day on their end. They can make all their volunteer cuts. That's all gone. So again, you know, you're coming into the seasonality kind of a situation. You really have to about the end of September for a crude to rally, but it's got to have some kind of a catalyst. But right now, this is not going to work. Okay, so just got to remember that. A lot of resistance. Watch that 100-day. We get above that. You have your 8-day. You have your 21-day. We have your 50-day. And then we have your 200-day on the chart. Now, again, RSI, this is nowhere near oversold. Got plenty of room on the way down. The same way with the MACD. Now, again, watch Friday's candle. That high, 64.58. Top, 62.77. That's going to be very key. We lose it. We work ourselves all the way down until we have a retest down there at that 59.74 level. Now, natural gas. It's working it, okay? But what it needs to do is hold that 2.89. If it doesn't, then we're going to come to the bottom of that candle right there, and that's going to be 2.86 level, okay? That's just that simple. Now, again, that's not where it ends, okay? We have that 2.86. We kept losing this here. We come right down to the bottom there, okay? You're looking at 2.83 level. We have 2.64. We come down there at 2.51, and then we have 2.46. And then we have 2.21. You work your way all the way down to $1.87. Now, not saying that's where it's going to go, but it needs some kind of a catalyst to take this higher. Now you can see how everything is just an absolute waterfall here. 8, 21-day, 50-day, even your 100-day now about ready to cross the 200-day. So you have to get back above this 8-day. That's going to be key. We do. Then we come up top of that candle at 310. Then we have roughly 15. And then we have your 318, your 21-day. Then we come up here, we have 333, and you have 333 level. And then we can come up to your 341, which is your 50-day, and then we have your 100-day, 200-day at 348. But right now, this is looking very, very bearish. Like I've been pointing out, we have a declining chart here going on. Hey, very declining chart. So that's never good. But it has to hold this level right here on a closing basis, 289. Otherwise, you're going next level is going to be that 285 level. Upside. Well, again, we can look to Friday's low first at that 296, but realistically, we got to get it to that 8-day. Now, this could be a good trade from here, at least to that 8-day. You crack above it, you could go to that 21-day to that 50-day, but let's just see how this all shakes out. So just be a little bit patient with this. It needs a catalyst if he wants to go higher. Okay, let's take a look now at the NQ. Okay, here we have the NQ now up about 30. You've got to see how this all shakes out. But again, you can see here the big melt up situation. Now, what I don't like about this is, see how strong this was, okay? And now we had this like an overbought condition, but now it looks like here, see how we haven't we're getting into a negative divergence, okay? So you got to be careful. Where we have a high, now this pops above that, this is going to be really negative divergence. So just watch and pay attention to that. The green is still below your red, so be careful with that. Now, again, we had a really nice rally, and it was just tightening up. This was that news that he was going to put, T-Man was going to put tariffs on Canada. You can see how nice it fell off, and now we're retesting this high. So to 23,845, we lose that, then obviously you're going to head towards that 24,000. Okay, very, very simple. Downside, we're going to be watching that 23,386 level, and then we're watching 23,339. That is your 21-day. If that's lost, we'll come to the bottom of that candle. You're looking at 2384, and then we come down to 2345. But we're really looking for that test of right there at that 22,775, and then your 50-day at 22,710. So again, be just a little patient with this. This is a trader's market, but always watch this possible negative divergence that's going to be in play, okay? Now, right now it isn't because we still have a high and a lower high. We have a high and a lower high. But again, if it cracks above that, then just watch this here. This will sell off hard. Now, again, we're coming into that time frame, end of August, September, October, that beginning of October. That's always very, very not good for the market. Those are like the worst 6 weeks of the market. So always remember that. And this is a trader's market. So use stops. Okay, that's all I got for you. I'll be back here tomorrow morning, and we will do it all over again. Trade what's in front of you, not what you want.